B&B spoilers. Brooke calls foul, Taylor playing damsel in distress card? This week on The Bold and the Beautiful, the Forrester family will be up in arms over Taylor Hayes' new romance. Steffy Forrester will drag her father and her brother into the mess and beg them to help her derail Taylor and Deacon. Shouldn't Ridge Forrester be worried about his actual wife, though? Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, got busted canoodling with Deacon Sharp, Sean Cannon, and Steffy is spiraling over the revelation. Of all the men in Los Angeles, there's no way she is going to let her mother steal Sheila Carter's, Kimberlin Brown, husband. Steffy tries to end Bridge. Luna Nozoa is finally gone, and Steffy was just starting to be able to go to the office without looking over her shoulder. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers hint that Steffy is so desperate to get her mother off from Sheila's hit list that she tries to get her dad to leave Brooke and reunite with Taylor. B&B viewers know that Ridge Forrester is not going to stand by and watch Taylor get harassed and possibly killed by Sheila Carter. But he's married to Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, now, and his wife will probably tell him that Taylor's relationship problems are no longer his concern. How would you feel if your husband was obsessed with his ex-wife's new relationship? Brooke lays down the law. It won't be long before Brooke Logan starts to get a sense of déjà vu. This is starting to feel like the time Ridge dumped Brooke and reunited with Taylor Hayes to save her from broken heart syndrome. B&B spoilers say Ridge's wife is suspicious and will probably to ban him from hanging out with his ex-wife in the near future. Will Ridge fall for Taylor's damsel in distress act and leave Brooke to save his ex-wife from Deacon and Sheila? Is Brooke right? Could this all just be a game to get Ridge back? The sun may be shining in Los Angeles, but a dark cloud has settled over the Logan and Forrester estates. In what many are calling a very sad news day for longtime fans, the fragile peace between soap opera's most iconic rivals has officially shattered. The latest The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for mid-January 2026 reveal a devastating turn of events. Brooke Logan is calling foul. The bridge between the two families isn't just cracked, it's being burned to the ground as Brooke accuses Taylor Hayes of playing the ultimate damsel in distress card to manipulate those around her. The breaking point, Taylor's dangerous game. For weeks, we've watched Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, struggle with her growing feelings for Deacon Sharp, Sean Cannon. While the chemistry is undeniable, the stakes are lethal. Deacon is currently tied to the volatile Sheila Carter, Kimberlin Brown, a woman who treats until death do us part as a literal threat rather than a vow. The tragedy of today's news lies in the fallout. Rather than finding a way to safely navigate her attraction, Taylor has seemingly retreated into a position of vulnerability that has Steffy Forrester in a state of panic and Brooke Logan in a state of pure fury. Brooke calls foul. I've seen this before. Brooke Logan has never been one to mince words, especially when she smells a rat. In a series of high-tension confrontations, Brooke is reportedly set to blast Taylor for what she perceives as a calculated move. The accusation: Brooke believes Taylor is leaning into her fragile state to gain sympathy from Ridge and the rest of the family. The history: fans know these two have a decades-long history of competing for the same space. To Brooke, Taylor's current distress over the Deacon/Sheila situation is just a new way to stay center stage in the Forrester drama. The damsel card: Brooke is calling out Taylor for acting as though she is a helpless victim of her feelings, rather than a world-renowned psychiatrist who should know better than to pine after a patient, or an ex-patient, married to a serial killer. Taylor is a grown woman, a doctor, and a mother. A source close to the production teases Brooke's upcoming dialogue. Brooke isn't buying this lost soul act for 1 second. A family divided, the ripple effect. This isn't just a spat between two women. It's a tactical war that is pulling the next generation into the crossfire. Character current stance: the risk Steffy Forrester protecting Taylor, her desperation to keep Taylor away from Deacon might actually push Taylor closer to him. Hope Logan team, follow your heart. Hope is actually encouraging the Taylor/Deacon romance, putting her directly at odds with Steffy. Ridge, Forrester the middleman Ridge, is caught between his destiny, Brooke, and his loyalty to the mother of his children, Taylor. Sheila Carter the wild Cardiff, she catches wind of Taylor, playing the damsel for her husband. The consequences will be bloody. Why this is very sad news for fans. The sadness stems from the regression of these characters. Just a year ago, it seemed Brooke and Taylor had finally moved past their rivalry to form a genuine, albeit complicated, friendship. Seeing them return to these bitter accusations feels like a loss for fans who wanted to see them evolve. Moreover, the damsel in distress narrative is a heavy one. If Taylor truly is struggling with her mental health or the weight of Sheila's threats, Brooke's calling foul could be seen as incredibly cold. Conversely, if Brooke is right and Taylor is using her vulnerability as a weapon, it tarnishes Taylor's legacy of being the moral alternative. The Deacon Factor, a romance bathed in fear. At the heart of this very sad development is Deacon Sharp. He is genuinely worried about Taylor's safety, which only makes Taylor lean on him more. Every time Taylor expresses fear of Sheila, Deacon steps in to comfort her, and every time he does, the target on Taylor's back grows larger. Brooke sees this cycle and fears the collateral damage. She knows that if Taylor gets hurt, it won't just be Taylor suffering. It will be Ridge, Steffi, and even Hope who pay the price. What's next? A showdown for the ages. As we move into the latter half of the week, expect the Brooke/Taylor confrontation to reach a fever pitch. With R.J. Forrester returning to Los Angeles, the family dynamic is shifting yet again, and he may find himself forced to choose sides in a battle that started before he was even born. Moreover, the damsel in distress narrative is a heavy one. If Taylor truly is struggling with her mental health or the weight of Sheila's threats, Brooke's calling foul could be seen as incredibly cold. Conversely, if Brooke is right and Taylor is using her vulnerability as a weapon, it tarnishes Taylor's legacy of being the moral alternative. The Deacon Factor, a romance bathed in fear. At the heart of this very sad development is Deacon Sharp. He is genuinely worried about Taylor's safety, which only makes Taylor lean on him more. Every time Taylor expresses fear of Sheila, Deacon steps in to comfort her, and every time he does, the target on Taylor's back grows larger. Brooke sees this cycle and fears the collateral damage. She knows that if Taylor gets hurt, it won't just be Taylor suffering. It will be Ridge, Steffi, and even Hope who pay the price. What's next? A showdown for the ages. As we move into the latter half of the week, expect the Brooke/Taylor confrontation to reach a fever pitch. With R.J. Forrester returning to Los Angeles, the family dynamic is shifting yet again, and he may find himself forced to choose sides in a battle that started before he was even born. Very sad news from the bold and the beautiful cuts straight to the heart of one of daytime television's most painful, never-ending rivalries. Just when it seemed like the storm between Brooke Logan and Taylor Hayes might finally settle into an uneasy calm, new spoilers suggest the wounds are being ripped wide open once again, and this time, the damage may be irreversible. According to the latest B&B spoilers, Brooke is no longer staying silent. She's calling foul, loudly, emotionally, and with years of bottled-up resentment pouring out. At the center of her outrage, Taylor's latest behavior, which Brooke believes is nothing more than a calculated attempt to play the damsel in distress and pull Ridge Forrester back into her orbit. What makes this turn of events so devastating isn't just the accusation itself. It's what it says about how little healing has truly occurred between these two women after decades of heartbreak, betrayal, and emotional warfare. Brooke reaches her breaking point. Brooke Logan has endured a lifetime of being blamed, shamed, and labeled the villain in her own story. Time and time again, she's tried to rise above it, telling herself that maturity, honesty, and love would eventually win out. But spoilers hint that Brooke's patience has finally run out. Sources close to the show reveal that Brooke becomes increasingly disturbed by Taylor's recent behavior. The tears, the vulnerability, the constant need for Ridge's emotional rescue. While Taylor presents herself as fragile and wounded, Brooke sees something far more manipulative beneath the surface. To Brooke, it feels painfully familiar. She's seen this pattern before. Every time Ridge drifts away, Taylor somehow ends up broken, grieving, or overwhelmed, and Ridge, ever the knight in shining armor, rushes in to save her. Brooke can no longer shake the feeling that Taylor knows exactly what she's doing, and this realization devastates Brooke. She knows how to pull him back. In upcoming episodes, Brooke reportedly confides in close allies that Taylor is deliberately positioning herself as helpless, emotionally fragile, deeply wounded, and in need of Ridge's unwavering support. From Brooke's perspective, it's a masterclass in emotional manipulation. Taylor doesn't have to demand Ridge's attention. She doesn't have to fight dirty or make threats. All she has to do is fall apart, and Ridge comes running. Brooke believes Taylor understands Ridge's psyche better than anyone. She knows his guilt. She knows his savior complex. And most importantly, she knows how to trigger it. This realization leaves Brooke feeling defeated and deeply sad. Not angry sad. Sad that, after everything, Ridge still hasn't learned. Sad that Taylor still plays the same card. And sad that she, Brooke, is once again the woman left questioning her worth. Ridge caught in the middle again. Ridge Forrester finds himself trapped in the same impossible position he's occupied for decades. On one side is Brooke, furious yet heartbroken, demanding honesty and emotional accountability. On the other is Taylor, visibly struggling, leaning on Ridge for comfort and stability. Spoilers suggest Ridge genuinely believes he's doing the right thing. He doesn't see Taylor's behavior as manipulation. He sees pain. Real pain. Pain he feels responsible for. And that's exactly what terrifies Brooke. To Brooke, Ridge's inability to recognize the pattern is proof that history is doomed to repeat itself. She fears that no matter how much love or loyalty she offers, it will never compete with Taylor's ability to make Ridge feel needed. Brooke calls it out loudly. In a powerful and emotionally charged moment, Brooke reportedly confronts the situation head-on. She refuses to sugarcoat her feelings any longer. According to spoilers, Brooke openly accuses Taylor of playing the damsel in distress card, and she does it with brutal honesty. This confrontation isn't polite. It isn't restrained. It's raw. Brooke lays everything on the table. The years of being pushed aside, the endless cycle of Ridge running back to Taylor whenever she appears vulnerable, and the emotional toll it's taken on her heart. She calls out what she sees as manipulation, whether intentional or not. But instead of bringing clarity, Brooke's words only deepen the divide. Taylor's pain is real, or is it? Here's where the tragedy truly sets in. Taylor genuinely believes she's being misunderstood. From her perspective, she isn't manipulating anyone. She's hurting. She's grieving lost love, broken dreams, and years of emotional damage. Ridge is her anchor, the one person who makes her feel safe. Taylor sees Brooke's accusation as cruel and unfair. And spoilers suggest Taylor breaks down completely after the confrontation, reinforcing Ridge's instinct to protect her. To him, Brooke's words feel harsh, even heartless, and that only drives him closer to Taylor. It's a devastating irony. The more Brooke speaks her truth, the more Ridge pulls away. Brooke's deepest fear comes true. What makes today's spoilers especially heartbreaking is the emotional aftermath for Brooke. She begins to realize that by calling foul, she may have already lost. Ridge doesn't respond with understanding or reassurance. Instead, he becomes defensive, not of Brooke, but of Taylor. For Brooke, this is the ultimate confirmation of her worst fear, that Ridge will always choose Taylor when she appears broken. This realization leaves Brooke emotionally shattered. Not dramatic, not screaming, just deeply, profoundly sad. She starts to question everything: her marriage, her place in Ridge's life, and whether love with him will ever be stable or secure. A rivalry that refuses to die. The Brooke-Taylor feud has survived decades because it's never truly been resolved. Every truce is temporary, every reconciliation fragile, and every emotional crisis reopens old wounds. Spoilers indicate that this latest conflict could be one of the most damaging yet. Brooke isn't fighting to win Ridge this time. She's fighting to protect her sanity and self-respect. And that shift changes everything. Instead of begging Ridge to choose her, Brooke may be preparing to walk away, not out of anger, but out of exhaustion. Is Brooke finally done? One of the saddest elements of the storyline is the possibility that Brooke is reaching emotional closure. Not peace, but resignation. She's tired of competing with grief. Tired of defending her intentions. Tired of loving a man who can't fully let go of his past. If Ridge continues to side with Taylor, Brooke may decide that love isn't enough anymore. And that decision would mark the end of an era. What comes next? As The Bold and the Beautiful moves forward, fans can expect more emotional fallout, more painful confrontations, and potentially life-altering decisions. Will Ridge finally recognize the pattern Brooke sees so clearly? Is Taylor truly manipulating the situation, or simply surviving emotional pain? And most importantly, how much heartbreak can Brooke endure before she chooses herself? One thing is certain. Today's very sad news signals that the fragile balance between Brooke, Ridge, and Taylor is on the brink of collapse. That has left The Bold and the Beautiful fans reeling. The hallowed halls of Forrester Creations are shaking under the weight of a devastating family betrayal. The news is officially breaking. Steffy Forrester is making her most aggressive move yet to permanently dismantle Ridge, the legendary, decades-long union of Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan. While viewers are used to the parent trap schemes of years past, what makes today's news so profoundly sad is the sheer desperation and darkness behind Steffy's latest crusade. This isn't just about Team Taylor anymore. It's a high-stakes gamble that threatens to tear the Forrester and Logan families apart at the seams. The catalyst, a daughter's fear or a daughter's fury. For years, Steffy has watched her mother, Taylor Hayes, play second fiddle to Brooke Logan's destiny. However, the events of early 2026 have pushed Steffy past her breaking point. Following Taylor's recent emotional spiral and her dangerous proximity to Deacon Sharp, Steffy has convinced herself that as long as Ridge is tied to Brooke, the entire family is in jeopardy. The sad news circulating in the soap community isn't just a breakup. It's the method Steffy is using. Sources indicate that Steffy is no longer just whispering in Ridge's ear. She is actively weaponizing family secrets and corporate leverage to force her father to choose his legacy or his Logan. Why this time is different? The Sheila factor. Steffy is terrified that Taylor's loneliness is driving her into the arms of Deacon, which invites the monster Sheila Carter back into their lives. In Steffy's mind, if Ridge returns to Taylor, Taylor is safe. If Ridge stays with Brooke, Taylor is a sitting duck for Sheila's next psychotic break. Corporate warfare. Steffy is reportedly using her power as co-CEO to create a Logan-free environment at Forrester Creations, effectively trying to push Brooke and Hope out of the building to sever their daily connection to Ridge. A heartbreaking confrontation. Ridge caught in the middle. The most emotional scenes of the week featured a tear-stricken Steffy pleading with Ridge. The dialogue was gut-wrenching, as she reminded him of the years Taylor spent in the shadows, waiting for him to finally see her as more than a backup plan. How many times does she have to lose, Dad? How many times do we have to watch Brooke disappoint you before you realize that we are the ones who truly love you? The tragedy lies in Ridge's eyes. He is a man torn between the destiny he shares with Brooke and the devotion he feels for his children. For the first time, fans are seeing a Ridge who isn't just waffling, he is breaking. The fallout, the end of an era? If Steffy succeeds, the repercussions will be permanent. The Bridge fans, who have supported the couple through 8 marriages and countless obstacles, are expressing their heartbreak across social media. The sad news tag has trended as viewers realize that this might not be a temporary rift. The impact on the next generation. Hope versus Steffy. The rivalry between Brooke and Taylor has officially infected Hope and Steffy again. Hope is standing her ground, defending her mother's marriage, and labeling Steffi's actions as cruel and obsessive. Finn's dilemma. Steffi's husband, Finn, is caught in the crossfire. While he wants to support his wife, he sees the toll this vendetta is taking on her mental health and the family's stability. Is Bridge truly over? The question on everyone's lips. Can Brooke Logan survive this? Brooke has survived scandals, rivalries, and even Sheila Carter herself. But surviving the focused, calculated wrath of a daughter who believes she is saving her father is a different battle entirely. The sadness of today's news comes from the realization that even if Ridge and Brooke stay together, the Forrester family is fractured. The bond between Ridge and Steffi may never be the same after he sees the lengths she went to in order to manipulate his heart. What's next for the bold and the beautiful? As we look toward the February sweeps, the tension is at an all-time high. Will Taylor stop her daughter from causing this much destruction? Or is the bridge finally collapsing under the weight of the Forrester legacy? One thing is certain. Steffi Forrester has crossed a line, and the aftermath will leave no one unscathed. And the beautiful spoilers deliver a heartbreaking twist that longtime fans feared but never wanted to see. In a move that could permanently shatter one of daytime television's most iconic love stories, Steffi Forrester is actively trying to end Bridge, the turbulent, decades-long romance between Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan. And this time, it doesn't feel like another temporary setback. It feels final, calculated, and devastating. For years, viewers have watched Ridge and Brooke circle back to each other no matter how many times fate, family, or betrayal tore them apart. Bridge survived scandals, secret kisses, stolen nights, and countless divorces. But now, the threat isn't coming from a rival lover or a shocking secret. It's coming from Ridge's own daughter. And that makes today's news especially sad. Steffi's line in the sand. Steffi has never been shy about her feelings when it comes to Brooke Logan. From the very beginning, she has believed that Brooke brings chaos into Ridge's life and into the Forrester family as a whole. In Steffi's eyes, Brooke is the common denominator in Ridge's heartbreak, instability, and constant emotional whiplash. But what's different now is Steffi's sense of urgency. She's no longer just voicing her opinion or rolling her eyes from the sidelines. Steffi is actively intervening, determined to put an end to Bridge before Ridge can once again fall back into Brooke's orbit. Sources close to the situation suggest Steffi feels she has no other choice. From her perspective, Ridge has proven time and time again that when Brooke is involved, he loses clarity, loyalty, and control. And Steffi refuses to watch history repeat itself, especially when she believes there's a healthier alternative waiting in the wings. Taylor's shadow looms large. Of course, no attempt to end Bridge would be complete without the presence of Taylor Hayes. While Steffi insists her actions are about protecting her father, it's impossible to ignore the fact that Taylor stands to gain the most from Brooke's downfall. Steffi sees Taylor as the safe choice, the woman who offers Ridge stability, understanding, and unconditional support. In Steffi's mind, Taylor represents peace, while Brooke represents endless war. And so, Steffi is quietly but firmly steering Ridge back toward his longtime soulmate, even if it means crushing Brooke in the process. What makes this especially painful is the way Steffi frames her mission. She isn't acting out of spite, at least not openly. She's acting like a daughter who believes she's saving her father from himself. But intention doesn't erase impact, and the impact on Brooke could be devastating. Brooke's world begins to collapse. Brooke Logan can feel it. The shift, the coldness, the walls closing in. Ridge hasn't fully pulled away yet, but there's hesitation in his eyes, distance in his voice, and a growing sense that he's being pulled in another direction. Brooke, who has fought tooth and nail for this relationship more times than she can count, senses that this time is different. What hurts the most is that Brooke isn't battling another woman. She's battling Ridge's daughter, and that's a fight she may not be able to win. Brooke knows Steffi has Ridge's ear. She knows her words carry weight. And as Steffi continues to paint Brooke as the problem, the scapegoat, the source of all pain, Brooke's place in Ridge's life grows more fragile by the day. for a woman who has endured public humiliation, betrayal, and heartbreak. This feels like the cruelest blow yet, being pushed out not because of something she did, but because of who she is to the Forrester family. Ridge caught in the middle again. At the center of this emotional storm is Ridge Forrester himself, torn between the woman he loves and the daughter he adores. Ridge has always struggled with confrontation, especially when it comes to his children, and Steffi knows that. Every heartfelt plea, every emotional warning, every reminder of past pain chips away at Ridge's resolve. He doesn't want to hurt Brooke, but he also doesn't want to dismiss Steffi's fears. And as Ridge hesitates, indecision threatens to make the choice for him. That hesitation may be the beginning of the end, because Brooke has lived this cycle too many times. She knows what it looks like when Ridge starts to pull away, and she may not be willing to fight another uphill battle, especially if she believes the deck is stacked against her. A legacy love story on the brink. The potential end of Bridge isn't just sad for Brooke and Ridge, it's sad for the show's history. This is a couple that define the bold and the beautiful. Their love story has been messy, passionate, infuriating, and unforgettable. To see it potentially dismantled by family pressure rather than fate feels especially tragic. It raises painful questions. Can a love story survive when the people closest to you want it to fail? And should it? Steffi believes she's doing the right thing. Brooke believes she's being unfairly condemned. Ridge is paralyzed by conflict, and Taylor waits quietly in the background, a reminder of the road not taken, or perhaps the road Ridge is about to return to. Is this truly the end of Bridge? Today's very sad news leaves fans with heavy hearts and unanswered questions. Is Steffi's interference enough to finally destroy Bridge for good? Or will Ridge once again defy expectations and choose Brooke no matter the cost? One thing is certain. The damage is already done. Trust is eroding. Lines are being drawn. And even if Bridge survives the storm, it may never be the same again. As Steffi pushes forward with her plan, Brooke stands on shaky ground, facing the possibility that the love of her life may slip through her fingers. Not because he stopped loving her, but because the world around him demanded he let her go.